Okay, well, what happened was we just lined up the bar as normal. We were geared up, we sort of expected that we would have probably had a bit of water flying around at some stage. What happened was we lined up and made our approach and took quite a big sea on the outer bar. The vessel broached quite hard and took the trawl door away, or the trawl door actually started fishing, I think, when the vessel laid over, and took our top and bottom bridles with it. It was a bit hard to believe for a start. Like we was on the leads. It had been a rough crossing, but it was nothing out of control. But everything sort of happened so fast. After that, there wasn't a great deal of time to reflect on it at all. It was happening. It was just happened so fast, really.
We were a little bit wary about what was going to happen, so we came in to have a look. And we were being half to 3/4 of a mile away from the bar, and my crew's job was to sit on the table in the back of the wheelhouse and look out the back window. And all I heard him say was, "Jesus Christ," and I sort of looked quick over my shoulder, and here it was, about 25 feet high, curled over the top of us. So the stern swung around the bow, and that put us broadside on, and then the wave actually broke on top of us. That filled the whole decks. The next wave hit us then, and it hit us on this quarter here, and that took that first winder out there. In that split second, we were up to our waist in water inside the wheelhouse. Then the next wave hit us, and that took the next two out. So we were minus all winders, but by that time we'd actually got round our head back into the sea. And when we broke out to sea there, we wore it through the windows there for about a quarter of an hour, 20 minutes. And as soon as I see a wave coming over the top, I'd tell them to get their heads down, and when she came over the top, I'd get my head down. But the amount of force we'd used, I'd actually pulled the console away from the front of the wheelhouse by about 2 inches. And we just sat out there for another 24 hours until we came in. And the next day it was just a long, greasy swell, and it was quite a joy to put my feet on land, I can tell you that. No, there was just too much on to actually get nervous about anything. The main thing was keeping that head to the sea. After all was said and done, I was the skipper, and I had those two other jokers' lives in my hands, and they trusted me with my judgment.
Yeah, it was the first bar I'd ever crossed, and I planned to be very careful about it and take it carefully and make sure everything was right. I thought I knew what I was in for, but there's nothing really teaches you like actually doing it. You can hear all the stories of what you should do, but it's not till you're there and you do it yourself that you appreciate what's involved. We were out fishing, it got rough, and everybody headed in, and probably about 8 boats had gone in before me. And it was a bit rough for me from the first time, but just because the people who'd done it before were quite happy about it, I followed the crowd and raced in there and did my thing too, and learned a lot in about 10 minutes, yeah, a lot more than I expected. I got on a big wave and took off down it, and it was quite enjoyable till it till I went down the front of it and slewed around sideways and started walking up the side of the wheelhouse, you know. She laid over that far as we went down the front of this wave that I ended up with one foot on here and one on the floor, sort of on the verge of climbing up the wall, sort of thing. It totally out of control. Didn't know what was going on. Well, I knew what was going on, but I didn't have any control of it. Yeah. But the boat survived, and I learned a lot. And the next time I went across that bar, I felt a lot more confident about it. Yeah. The more I cross it, the more I'm determined not to have dangerous crossings. You know, so.
Well, basically, like I said, I made a mistake. I really wanted to go home. We approached the bar 2 hours before the top of the tide. We knew it was going to be touch and go. Had a look, didn't like the look of it, so we steamed out another mile or two back to safe water, and basically thought, rightio, after an hour and a half, we've got half an hour before the tide's going to start ebbing, we've got to go in a bit closer and have one more look. So we got in a bit close, and like I said, one of the big green waves was coming in behind us, and I didn't see it. As it was, the first one went under us. We went up on the top of it and slid down the back of it, and I was holding my breath, and there was another 4 or 5 behind them. So we kept going slow. The fourth one actually broke across the deck. The deck was full of water. The boat shook it off. We'd broached. We got caught by another one side on, filled the deck up. That was alright. She eventually shook it off. There was a bit of leakage around the windows and that from that one, and a little bit coming in the back door. So it was, you know, to me it was a pretty close brush with death, and I wasn't too happy with myself having made a mistake. I think everybody makes mistakes, and it's getting past those mistakes and carrying on with your life and thinking, I won't do that again. You know, learn from your mistakes is the biggest thing. If you don't learn from your mistakes, the sea will take you.